Okay, this is week 4, guys. We had some other tests we had to do, plus a preclinical test. I don't have that one. It goes to the clinic that we are going to for our clinicals, so I can't show you that one, but I did good. This week we were going over different parts of the arm, anatomical, clinical, what some of the different laboratories. We got to actually tour a laboratory this week, which was cool. But we learned different things in the hematology department, coagulation, blood bank, microbiology, different tests that each one of those do, and why in your urine. I know in the previous video I was talking about a requisition. Well, this may look a little funny to y'all. I hope y'all can see it. But it's the different color tubes, and these numbers and letters represent what test is being done. And it'll look like this. It'll show the barcode right here. Well, you can't see that one, so I'll go down to here. And like this one says GF9. That's for a green tube, and it's being checked for white blood cells. So we had to learn this, and every laboratory we're finding out is different. So, because we all don't go to the same clinic for clinicals. We're separated into different clinicals. We're also learning the different lab tests. The department where it goes to special considerations, like if someone is being tested for protein levels for someone who's on Coumadin, we have to know what the test is, where it's going, and any special considerations. Like for Coumadin, once you draw their blood, they're going to easily bleed a lot. So we have to take more precautions on those with stopping the blood with the gauze and the tape, so they will clot faster. In our clinicals, we also have to do this. We have to have, well, our clinicals, we have to have 100 sticks. That means we have to be able to draw 100 people. Not 100 tubes, just 100 people. And on here, you write the colors that you did do, the side of the arm that you used, whether it's the right or the left, and where you drew it. There's 3 areas in the arm. There's the median. Oh Lord, I can't say that one very well. The celiac over here, and then you have the basal, which is here, the pinky side. We're trying not to use that one because there's a lot of nerve endings there and arteries, so we try to stay away from that. And also what we call the dorsal network, which is your hands up here and this area here. So this is how they track it. We turn it in every day after we go back to school the next day, turn it into our teacher. We also have to write something new that we learned that day at the clinic. With that, I also had to take another test. I guess this next few weeks is going to be test crazy. Again, it was, you had to know the different people in the clinicals or lab. Like in this particular question, in a typical laboratory organizational chart, the person above the supervisor it's the laboratory manager. Then we had to know that the director is a pathologist. He or she is a medical doctor. Blood cultures to evaluate specimen and form to be performed goes to microbiology. If we're in a hospital setting and we go in to take blood from a person who is asleep, you know, you got to be able to wake them up, let them wake up a little bit before you go sticking them. Specimens collected in the serum separation tubes are most frequently delivered to chemistry. And again, with a hospital setting, if we go in and we have to make sure the patients have an ID band. We can't draw just because they're there. We have to go back to the nurse's station and say, can you ban this person so I can get their blood? If it happens to be an emergency room setting and they have no ID on them, basically they're John or Jane Doe, the hospital gives them a temporary identification. So we are able to draw their blood, and then once they find out who this person is, that identification number will be linked back to their name and all that. So that's how the labs keep track of everything, and that's how we keep track of them. This week in clinicals, we started Thursday. I will tell you, I was really nervous. I knew I could do it, but I was still nervous nonetheless. I took the blood of my first person, and they didn't tell me they were on Coumadin. Probably a good thing. So I took the blood, and they came back 2 hours later because they knew I was a student, and they wanted to let me know and to show me that I did a really good job because I had taken their blood and they did not bruise. And that's when they told me that they were on Coumadin, that if I could do that and not bruise them, I would be a good phlebotomist, which made me feel better. I thought to myself, it's a good thing you didn't mention that in the beginning. There was a few challenges with taking blood. And let me just say for the record, just because you're a young person doesn't mean it's going to be easy. I started on a younger person, and let me emphasize younger, being my age. It started to come out, and then all of a sudden it just stopped. The well went dry, and we had to, unfortunately, take it out and insert it somewhere else to get the blood. And I felt so bad. So we do have successes, and our teachers in the laboratory and clinic settings are telling us not to get discouraged. It happens even to the best of them. My teacher, who has been a phlebotomist for 30 years, even I see her have difficulties and she needs help. So it's learning different techniques from different people that may or may not work for you, but it is interesting. So that's about it for this week. Next week we do more clinicals. I'm already up to 30 with 25 successful draws. I've had 3 or 5 that's not been. And again, they're saying it's just technique and learning how to maneuver the needle without fishing. We're not allowed to fish. So we're to go in, come out, and that's it. So it's been challenging, but it's been rewarding, and it's been very interesting, and we're still learning more every day that we go into the clinics and doing our clinicals. We're finding out that old people, just because they're old and learning how to anchor their veins just right, some of them are easy, some of them are hard. So I guess it just depends on the person themselves. So again, just because they're young doesn't mean it's going to be easy. So until next week, guys, see ya and have a good week.